welcome back to the NICU Mama Hustle. So today I'm actually filming in my bedroom. The door is closed, the baby monitor's off, it's quiet, and I'm honestly just exhausted. My husband has decided today to give me a break, which is great. And it's honestly like it feels so good to just be like in a little bit of quiet. I'm just really tired. Also, my mother-in-law's here visiting, so it's been so helpful to have her here. And it's only been like a day, you know. It's only been a very short amount of time, but it's already been like great. But I wanted to get on today because it's time, you know. It's time to get back with you guys. So the last video I talked about me getting pregnant and everything, but I think now it's time to talk about like the chain of events, my water breaking, all that. I kind of wanted to talk about the pregnancy itself, but I think I'll kind of get back to that later. I think that talking about the pregnancy is its own like huge thing, and I think so many women talk about pregnancy. Oh, I experienced this, and when they say every pregnancy is different, that is so true. Every single pregnancy is different. I will just say, I'm still recuperating from my pregnancy. My skin is recuperating. My face finally has cleared up, but like I had never had eczema before. And to have eczema on every single inch of my legs has been such an insecurity for me now. But yeah, when I was pregnant, it was even more. Like this little black mark on my lip is from pregnancy. It's I don't know where it came from, but it came when I was pregnant. Like just dry patch of skin. Y'all. But to the real tea, okay? To the real tea. So the day my water broke, I was actually at work. I have a very low stress job. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of thinking. I'm a decision maker. I'm a senior manager, junior executive. And a lot of my job is a lot of delegation. The things that I actually do are things that I have to do, like strategic business operations, which is great. I've worked really hard to get in that area of my career. But I had just come back from Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix. My husband and I had gone to Phoenix for just like our baby moon. I had taken it early because I was just like, I'm gonna just take it early, and it was the summertime and we had the time. And I had actually also come back to go. I was in New Jersey that week. I had to go to New Jersey for work. And at this time, I'm only 6 months. I still have clearance to travel. There's nothing abnormal about what I'm doing. I have wine, so yes, we're gonna talk with the wine, honey. There's nothing abnormal about what I'm doing. Nothing that says, oh, Tia, maybe you shouldn't do this. There's nothing along that lines that even closely resembles like, don't go, don't do it. Nothing. Can I repeat nothing? Nothing, right? So, it was a Tuesday, and I know for sure it was a Tuesday because my direct manager, who's the VP, has something called a leadership meeting every Tuesday, and I was in it, and I had just ordered lunch. In fact, I had kava for lunch. It was so good. I remember that. I had a meeting with a new employee at our facility at like 3 p.m. and she's a nurse, and so she was talking to me about like regulatory function and trying to understand my job more, and I thought it was great. I was like, this is great. We were laughing and joking and everything, and I had no like abnormal feeling at all this day. I had no abnormal feeling. It was a regular schmegular day for your girl. So the part that makes it interesting is that, like, what happened during the meeting. I'm in this meeting. I'm talking to the young lady. We're just chit-chatting, and I sneeze. And when you're pregnant, anything will make you pee. anything will make you pee. So I sneezed and I felt a little trickle. So I'm just like, oh my God, I'm peed. Like, ugh. And I always wear like a panty liner because I was pregnant. I was going to pee. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I peed, whatever, right? Yeah, thought I did. Sneeze again, peed again. Felt like a little bit of a bigger gush. But again, not anything that said, okay, this is, dramatic. So when the meeting was over, it was like a 30-minute meeting. She got up and she said, hey Tia, you gonna leave your door open? I said, yeah, leave the door open, no big deal. So I was getting ready to get up to go to the bathroom. So I sent an email. I had a quick call. I got up and y'all, I thought I was peeing on myself because I was like, whoa. And you know how you try to like hold it or like even like grab your hoo-ha or whatever. I tried to hold it. I was like, how, like, why am I peeing? Why am I peeing? But then I quickly realized I wasn't peeing because I tried to like, constrict my bladder. Baby, the water would not stop. It was just pee, pee, pee. So I quickly realized, oh shit, my water broke. What do? I panic. But I panic really quickly. But I quickly also like pivot. So one of my homegirls works with me and I call her phone and I was like, get to my office now. I need you right now. Get to my office now, please. Get here now. So she gets to the office. She walks in. I'm crying. I'm looking at her and I just said, I think my water broke. And she's just in shock. So I asked her, go get one of my other coworkers. So we go she goes and gets to my other coworkers who I'm really cool with too. They call the ambulance. I don't remember the chain of events about like calling my family, but I ended up calling my sisters because at the time, my husband and I only had one vehicle because I had wrecked my car. So I was taking his car to work. And so I knew that I had to get in contact with my sister because she was going to go have to get my husband. She was going to go have to, grab him or whatever. And the plan was to have a vehicle before I went into labor. But obviously, we don't plan these things, right? So I called my sister. We're all panicking. I'm like, whatever. My friend Shannon ends up getting my sister's phone numbers and she ends up calling them for me. And she's just like, this is what we are. This is what we're doing. Boom. So yeah, my water broke at work. So then the fire department comes. They, ask me how far along I am. They ask me all the scary questions. They just do everything that's just super scary. And they end up rushing me to the nearest hospital, which was Methodist in Richardson, Texas. Now, y'all, when I tell y'all it was like a movie, Like my water literally broke. And interestingly enough, a lot of women don't, like their water doesn't really break. Like that's actually not an extremely common thing, but my water broke. And not only did it break, it broke like in the movies. Like it was water. They had to like get my carpet cleaned in my office. I had to get a whole new office chair. Like it was traumatic. It was so scary. It was so much. And then even when I'm on the stretcher, they had to put like the little padding things down because I was leaking everywhere. They had to hurry up and get me outside to the ambulance because again, I'm leaking everywhere. So embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. All of my colleagues are just watching me go downstairs on this stretcher. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? We actually get to the hospital. One thing I like about Dallas or the Dallas area is that a lot of the hospitals are extremely advanced. So, and because I work in the healthcare industry, I have a lot of expectations for hospitals. I've worked at some really good ones. I've worked at some really crappy ones. But I must say that when I was sent to this particular hospital and they took me to the ER, the entire ER had their own labor and delivery department. Like, I had never seen that before, which I thought was like, okay, this is amazing. But the entire ER had their own L&D. So they dropped me off, and I was around nothing but people who understood labor and delivery. That's it. Of course, they admitted me. Well, before they even admitted me, they had to check my cervix to see if I was dilated, and I was 1 centimeter dilated. And the day my water broke, I was 23 weeks and 3 days. Yeah, 23 and 3. And I remember thinking, like, this cannot happen. Like, this absolutely cannot happen. So then they immediately take me. Well, no, they tell me, ma'am, if your water really broke, we're going to have to admit you for, just admit you. They didn't give me a timeline. So they did a test of my amniotic fluid. They confirmed it's definitely amniotic fluid. Confirmed my water broke. And so they immediately admit me upstairs to antepartum. I get upstairs. They're like getting me ready. I keep having to pee, but they won't let me get off the bed. So I have to be lifted up to sit like on a little, like a basically like a bedpan. I have to sit on that every like 30 minutes because I'm peeing all the time. And at this time, I'm just still in shock. My husband and my sisters finally get there, and I'm just like, I'm so much in shock that I'm not even crying anymore. Like, the tears are falling, but I'm just like, I'm just sitting. So then all of a sudden, I get, as I'm in the room, a neonatologist comes in. They told me that she was gonna come in, so the neonatologist came in, and I think that was the scariest conversation I've ever had in this whole pregnancy. The scariest conversation I've ever had. So the first thing, and then let me preface it by saying that the neo, she asked me how I wanted to have this conversation. And I told her I wanted a very straight shooter, honest conversation. So if what I'm saying sounds harsh, it's because I wanted the honest truth. I did not want to be beat around the bush. I just wanted the nitty gritty. Just give it to me. And I was a little nervous because my sister, who's a NICU nurse, was not available. She was working, and I wanted her to hear the conversation, but she couldn't at the time, which was fine, because the next day another doctor was able to give me the same spiel, and then she was able to hear it then. But the neo comes in, the neonatologist, and the conversation is so morbid. I'm gonna be honest. It was morbid. It said your baby could die. Your baby could be born with all these ailments. Your baby could be born with cerebral palsy. Your baby cerebral palsy. Your baby could be born with other issues due to lack of oxygen in the brain, which he didn't have, but it's a possibility. There's a possibility of miscarriage now at this point. There's a possibility of stillbirth. It's just like boom. And then there's a possibility that he'll live. So I'm hearing 10 things, and now my mind, and everything in my mind now is 10%, because I'm just hearing all these things. I'm just like, well, he whatever. And then after all of this, she says, a lot of these things are very rare, but I just have to be honest and tell you the truth, because I've seen people go from a healthy pregnancy to all of a sudden nothing. And she's right. It's the truth. It's a hard truth, but it is the truth. And, it just is. And so sometimes you have to be prepared for that. And the thing is, like, there is no preparing you for it. My water broke. I'm in the hospital. I'm hearing all these scenarios. And then they're like, okay, any questions? Ma'am, yeah. And then they tell me, by the way, you're going to be here until you deliver. In this bed? Yeah. You're going to be here in this bed, ma'am, until 40 weeks, or at least 37 weeks. So I said 37 weeks. I'm 23 and 3. So I have 13 weeks and 3 days, or 4 days rather, before I can give birth. Okay. So, yeah. It didn't happen that way, obviously, but yeah. So then the next morning, even still that night, I'm telling y'all, I had to buzz my nurse. I think I buzzed my nurse like 20 times, because they told me to, number one, anytime I had to pee. And I had to pee like every like so many minutes. The good thing though is that they had put the baby monitor around my belly, so I felt so good just hearing my son's heartbeat, knowing that he was moving. I didn't care. I was just like, he's good, he's good, he's good. He was also breech at the time when water broke, so you know, they just knew that, you know, they had to turn him eventually, right? The hard part is there's no amniotic fluid, so how you gonna turn a baby? But we weren't even there yet. At this point, we're just trying to figure out how can I stay pregnant. The goal was Operation Tia stay pregnant, Tia stay pregnant, Tia stay pregnant. So the next morning, I called my OB. I called him because he knew my case. He just knew me medically, and also you know, the hospital that he's affiliated with, Baylor downtown Dallas, has a level 4 NICU. And honestly, and I forgot to mention this, but I have high blood pressure, I have PCOS, I have a history of miscarriage, as y'all know I mentioned in the first video. But because of all of that, I was just like, I need to call my doctor and see what he wants me to do. That's what I did. Called my doctor, and he was like, hey, we're going to get you transferred to Baylor. I would just love to just, monitor you. And the case I think for him was personal because, I asked a lot of questions, and he really knew my history, and he knew how much this meant to me. And he knew, I just really wanted my baby. And so I got transferred to Baylor in Dallas. So they called medical transport. They give me to Dallas, and the hospitals are night and day. Methodist was like the Four Seasons. Baylor's like Holiday Inn. No tea, no shade. It's just not the same. But great staff at both. Great teams at both. Great nurses. I mean, the whole labor delivery neonatology nurse group are some of the most intelligent women I have ever, and men that I have ever met before in my life. Like, they have to think quickly. They have to do so much so quickly, and like I'll get there, but like I'm telling you, the NICU world, the antepartum world, labor delivery world, whew. So I get transferred to Baylor, and my doctor's like, hey, so what's up? That's like how we communicate. I'm like, oh, my water broke, nothing major, just whatever. He was like, well, Tia, the goal now is to stay pregnant. Can we please stay pregnant? I was like, I sure the hell hope so. I surely hope that we can stay pregnant, because I surely hope we can stay pregnant. Like, honestly, yeah. And then I think that the hardest part about all of it, and I know it's going to sound so vain, y'all. It's going to sound so vain. But, I did not get to take my maternity pictures. And I wasn't going to get to because I was in the hospital. I didn't get to have a baby shower. And I wasn't going to because I was in the hospital. I didn't get to nest. I didn't get to get my baby's room together, prior to him getting here because I was in the hospital. Everything happened so fast, and you lose a lot of the wow moments, especially coming from a world of loss. You lose a lot of those wow moments that you just cannot get back. And I know so many women are like, oh girl, it'll be fine. To you it'll be fine. But for me, I ain't gonna lie, I was looking so forward to that kind of stuff. So fast forward then to 23 and 7 or 24 weeks that Friday. So that Friday, I'm working all morning. I mean, I was working every day, having meetings like it was nothing. I was great. I was feeling good. I was walking around like I was supposed to. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. Low stress. I'm literally in the bed, right? I'm on all these meds. It's making me go to sleep. Best sleep I ever had before in my life. And so I start cramping at like 11 a.m. 11 a.m. And I'm like, man, I'm cramping so much. I'm just cramping so much. And my antepartum nurse, she was so awesome. She was like, cramping's normal. This is normal. You get your water broken. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Whatever. Start getting worse at around 3 o'clock. And I'm talking about the cramps are like menstrual cramps, but a little bit rough. And I have a high pain tolerance. So I'm gonna say on a scale of 1 to 10, these were like at a 6. So I'm just like, what's going on? Whatever. And so then my parents come. My parents are in town and they come because my water had broken. So my parents did come in town from Mississippi. And I'm just like, and my parents are sitting there playing Uno. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I am in pain. And I'm having cramps so bad. All of a sudden now I realize, oh, girl, you having contractions. So my mom goes and gets my nurse and says, I think she's having contractions. They're like, no, she's cramping. The contractions are not showing on the monitor. And I said, something is wrong. I am in pain. Something is wrong. Is wrong. And next thing I know, my dad starts timing these cramps, and they're 5 minutes apart. No, they're at first like 8 minutes apart. Then they go down to 5 minutes apart. Then they're 4 minutes apart. And I'm just like, who? And by this time, it's like 7 o'clock p.m. Maybe earlier, because my mom calls my sister and they hear me screaming in the background. And my sister, Dree, said, oh, it's going to be a long night. T finna had this baby. And I'm just like, no, it's fine. It's fine. So my husband was out running errands that day for us. And then he went to go grab us some food. He comes back to the hospital with this food. And I'm like screaming. And I'm like, oh, honey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And my sister Dree says, Daryl, eat your food because it's going to be a long night. You might as well eat now. It's going to be a long night. So all of a sudden, y'all, they become intense. Again, I have a high pain threshold. So if I say it's a 10, it's probably a 15 for most people. Y'all, them contractions hit me so hard. I screamed. I was like, oh my God. And then my nurse was like a younger nurse. By this time my night shift nurse came in. So she was like trying to get it together and all this. And next thing I know, I says, I need to poop. And she says, no, no. So I guess she realized then, oh my God, this girl for the had this baby. So my family walks out the room. The doctors walk in. The doors open. I'm screaming. My sister, I laugh every time I hear her because she says a family was walking by. They were actually going to leave the hospital. And they heard me scream and they like stopped. They were like, shit, do I go? Do I stay? So by this time, one of the residents comes in, one of the other doctors comes in. They're like, okay, T, we're going to check your cervix. I'm 3 centimeters dilated. And they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm just, at this point, I'm crying. The contractions are coming so frequently. I am in pain. So they realize, and I'm thinking, let's stop this labor, right? But I guess because at this point I have become too far dilated, the contractions were happening too quickly. My baby was coming. He was coming whether I wanted it to happen or not. He was on the way, honey. So the doctor comes and she's looking at, she says, Tia, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, what? I'm breathing. I'm like, what? Because I'm in so much pain. She said, we need to deliver your baby. Y'all would have thought she told me that I lost everything. I said, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. I'm screaming. The entire floor, I know, heard me. And they had to they were like, calm down, breathe, breathe, breathe. They had to get me downstairs to the OR. Y'all, I'm screaming in pain. Oh my God. All these women that have these natural births, kudos to you. I would never in my life do that again. And I say that I might have another kid, but let me tell you something. No, 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 no. So then we get downstairs to the OR. The anesthesiologist comes in. He was all like, "Do you want an epidural?" I was like, "Immediately. Like, don't ask me shit else. Give me this. Give me the medicine. Yes, I do. I want it." I'm talking about like I felt like my insides are being ripped open. Oh, so I get the epidural. We wait a little while. And then we finally get into the OR. You know, we prep, we pray, we prep, we pray. And my baby sister, again, who's a NICU nurse, was actually in New Orleans. So my family's calling her. She's on the phone in New Orleans trying to enjoy herself, but she's on the phone with my family because her oldest sister's in labor, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, y'all, um, we're going to the OR. They ask me what I want to hear. I tell them R&B. We got R&B playing. They do a breakdown. I'm half asleep. My husband's there. He's watching. He was like, "You don't feel any of this?" No. I'm like, "No, I don't feel nothing." And my baby boy was born. He was born. This was, I mean, my birth was so dramatic and traumatic. In emergency C-section, and all I could do was just say, "Please, God, just let him live." And he was born. He was born July 26, 2024, weighing 1 pound 5 ounces, breathing at 10:11 p.m. Y'all, y'all. And the rest is a lot. So on the next video, I'm gonna talk about what happened after I gave birth, y'all, because it was not easy. Mm-mm. It was not easy. I think the hardest part about me giving birth was that, again, what you don't get to experience, but there's so much that you do get to experience, right? So like it's so easy to be like, "Oh, I don't get to have XYZ," but then it's also so hard not to sound ungrateful. And I swear I'm not ungrateful, but it's kind of like, dang, you know, I wanted to have it done this way. It just didn't happen, and that's okay. So yeah. And then y'all, I forgot to tell y'all see my sweatshirt. This was a gift to me from my sister. It came from TikTok Shop. I am actually, my bachelor's degree is in biochemistry. So the fact that she got me this shirt with the periodic table, I think is so cool. I don't have the link, and I'm not a TikTok affiliate, so I don't really care about the link. But I think you can look up periodic table like mom sweatshirt or something like that, and it'll pop up. But I absolutely love this sweatshirt. Yeah, y'all know what to do. If you liked this video and the last one, please like, share, and subscribe. Heavy on the like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all again soon. Thank you. Love you. Bye.